Hi, and welcome to another awful episode of Fun with Writing with your host, Mr. Theo, former composer of rock operas and third member of now defunct supergroup Wham. Let's go on. Let's move on, shall we? Today's episode is So Much in a Name, the theory and practice of crafting academic titles. This is not, excuse me, this is not in the syllabus, but I do believe that it's important enough of a topic given a lot of your guys' intent to move on to upper levels of academia, upper levels of research, and upper levels of social work and stuff like that. So it would be remiss of me if I were to neglect this part. So what I'm going to be doing right now is I'm going to be talking to you guys about what academic titles do, how they work, how to create them, and how they're different from other titles. So your title in your final essay in my class, sorry, I hate to say my class, but in our class, will be in an academic title form. Okay, so right there I have so much in a name, which is somewhat provocative of a statement. So much in a name. Don't judge a book by its cover. That kind of thing. You know, it's a cliche, but it's a hook to draw the reader in. The next is all the information, the theory and practice of crafting academic titles. Okay, you have the flash, and then you have the information. Okay, that's it. That's all you need to know. If I could tell you exactly how an academic title works, that's all it is. You have some sort of flair, and then you have the info. Ethos, pathos, logos. All right. An essay that I'm in the process of publishing right now is an essay called Buffalo Bill, I presume, revisiting Henry Stanley's Africa as a rhetorical reproduction of the American frontier. Buffalo Bill, I presume, is a play on a statement in a book that I'm writing about, in which a guy says the famous words, the famous within a discourse community, that he says, Dr. Livingston, I presume. And anyone who has read this book or knows about Henry Stanley or Dr. David Livingston is very well aware of the statement, Dr. Livingston, I presume. So I, in writing about the ethos of the American frontier as projected onto Africa by a former correspondent on the American frontier, I decided to use Buffalo Bill because he's a well-known ethos within the frontier. Okay? So I have the hook, Buffalo Bill, I presume. It's something flashy. And I have the information, revisiting Henry Stanley's Africa as a rhetorical reproduction of the American frontier. Okay? I use rhetorical reproduction because of the alliteration of consonants. Okay, so this one I put on here as an example of, you know what, I don't know why I put that on there. All right, titles. They do three things. Hook, which is the Buffalo Bill, I presume. You bring the reader in. The context. What are you talking about? If you're talking about animal cruelty, you say animal cruelty or some sort of other version of that. The nuance. What about animal cruelty? Don't just talk. You should never talk about the broad issue. You should talk about a small, nuanced version of it. So, one guy that I do not like, and I hate that he's making a lot of money right now, is Michael Vick. So, I might want to say Michael Vick's influence or Michael Vick's assistance in the process of animal cruelty. So I'm talking about a very specific part of a large issue. Nobody wants to read the generals. Remember, you should only focus on what your audience knows, because you should not repeat what they know. Do not patronize. Okay? Do not ever repeat what your audience knows. And also, you have to focus on what you want them to know. Okay? don't focus on necessarily what you want to tell them or what you're interested in. Tell them what they need to know. Be very direct and very to the point. So draw them in with a hook. Tell them what you're talking about with the context. And be specific with the nuance. Does that make sense? I feel like I ramble. And that kind of concerns me because this stuff's really important to me. This stuff's really important for you to know. So if I'm rambling, I'm really sorry. I don't intend on it, okay? I'm fascinated by language and I tend to ramble. So, yeah, I'm sorry. All right, the anatomy of a title is you have the hook directly followed by a colon. Aristotle stressed the colon a lot as a way to combine two important rhetorical strategies. I grew up in a railroad family. I broke the link. I'm not gonna go there, but my family. They all built the couplers on trains, the things that combined the one rail car to another. So each boxcar, each engine, each oil car, each caboose was connected by a coupler. And my family, the men in the family at least, they built those. Not saying anything about women, by the way. I think about the colon as the coupler. It combines two different rhetorical moments. Sorry. I ramble. So hook, colon, nuance plus context. That's it. Okay? Remember this. Your hook is the Flash. Buffalo Bill, I presume. Something flashy, something to really bring your audience in, but it has to be relevant to your topic. We happy few. Okay? My favorite part of Shakespeare, of all of Shakespeare, St. Crispin's speech. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. You take a small portion of a gigantic or a well-known part of a particular discourse community. Okay? And then you bring the reader in with that. I have to go take a break really quick. I have to take care of my dog. She's going insane. But I'm going to put you on hold for just a couple seconds, okay? All right, I'm sorry. Okay, the next part that you're going to be talking about is the nuance, which is, like I said, it is the specific part of the document or of the topic that you're working with. Okay, that should be the first. Okay, so if we are talking about, Tom Selleck. If we're talking about we happy few, we're talking about, St. Crispin's speech, which is in King Henry IV. If you're talking about if you're talking about a nuanced camaraderie, rethinking camaraderie in Shakespeare's Henry IV, you would use the statement, we happy few, because that's talking about camaraderie, right? So that's a way to bring people in. But instead of talking about all of Henry V, you're talking about a nuance, camaraderie in Henry V. Not all of Henry V, not all of Shakespeare, none of that. But you're rethinking. Okay, now look at the term rethinking. That's a very active verb. Okay, revisiting, rethinking. Think about what you are adding to the conversation and use your verb to meet that. What exactly does your essay do? Why is it important? Within your title, you should state why it's important. And then within the rest of your essay, you should make it important. Okay? Does that make sense? My title, Revisiting Henry Stanley's Africa as a Reproduction of the American Frontier. Same thing. Revisiting, active verb. Henry Stanley's Africa. That's the context. Reproduction of the American frontier. That's the nuance. Okay? Hook, nuance, plus context. Okay, another title, Of Mice and Mounties. Rethinking Crime and Punishment in 18th Century Canada. Oh God, I just brought up Canada. What's this world coming to? It's becoming my life. Bringing up Canada. What's the point? Okay, sorry. That's neither here nor there. Oh, damn. I'm just kidding. I actually, you know, I spent a lot of time in Canada. My family lived there. Anyways, so that's another provocative title, provocative hook, nuance plus context. Context, 18th century Canada. Nuance, crime and punishment. Okay, hook, nuance plus context. That's it. All right. I gotta go. Hope you guys learned something from that. I hope so. Hope I didn't ramble too much. And all right, you guys have a good night. All right, bye-bye.